Hi friends, I hope everybody is doing great. Thank you so much for your commentary on last week's video. I ask you to please continue to share, like, subscribe, because it does affect the algorithms. It's a huge mitzvah to spread Torah. We're taught that if you know Aleph, then teach Aleph. If you know Aleph Bet, then teach Aleph Bet. So imagine yourself on Facebook or elsewhere. You post something, everybody likes it. So many people share it. How great you feel inside. Well, God feels that way, but exponentially so, because it's so important and a huge mitzvah to spread Torah. So please continue to do so, and I thank you so much for that. Wanted to talk today about a subject that's so difficult for so many today, and most especially women, and that is the clothes we wear. Do the clothes make the man? Do the clothes make the women? The answer is yes, according to the Torah, according to science. Now, if you will ask Armani or Michael Kors, they will just tell you whatever the season dictates. But science and Torah will tell you what the truth and the reality is. Your clothing define who you are. They affect who you are, and they can change and make and break your entire life. And I tell you this as me, as somebody who had a dispute between me and my clothing my whole life. Science proves that when people take a test wearing a lab coat, which they think is a doctor's lab coat, will affect the results of the test. When women were told to wear a bathing suit when they took a math test, it affected the results of the test. Science and research over and over again is proving that your clothes inform your spirit. They say something about you. They are so powerful that they can even change your hormones. What else is closer to us in this life than our clothes? I wear them every day. I love my mother, I love my family, but they're not attached to me for most of the day. We have a very intimate, serious relationship with our clothing. But many people take it on a much more casual level. I'll throw this on, I'll throw it off. They don't understand the significance and the importance that what you wear defines you and makes you and breaks you. This is a Torah video, so I would love to start with a quote from the Talmud, but I won't, because most people are not living in the Talmud every day of the week. Most people are living here on earth in the reality that surrounds us, and we see gorgeous women who are dressed provocatively. We see fashion, we see temptation, and those are the things that define us and inspire us and make us run after them, because we think that we will be great, we'll feel validated, we'll feel good, we'll be accepted if we go after those norms. So I came across a quote from a model who didn't dress maybe at all at some times. She was married to somebody who exploited women's sexuality. She is now a widow. She's only in her 30s. She's not 60, broken down, and, I can't do better now, so I'll put on clothes and advocate modesty. She's a gorgeous 30-year-old woman who says she doesn't even know why she ever dressed that way. And now, for the first time in her life, with a turtleneck and most things covered, maybe her fingers and her toes still exposed. She never felt more of herself, never felt more real, never felt more in touch with who she is and who she is supposed to be. I'm sure she is not alone in her life, and neither am I, and neither are you, who fight with their wardrobes in the morning. What do I wear? What do I have to say? Do the clothes make the man? The answer is yes. It's not a simple choice. In this week's parasha, Tetzaveh, we read about the Kohanim. Who was the first fashion designer ever? God. He told Moses, this is what the Kohanim have to wear. Has to look like this, has to be of this material. Why does God care what the Kohanim wear? Just go in, serve me, serve the people. Many reasons. One is, for sure, people judge you the way you look. We know that. Dress for success. Golf courses won't let you in because you can't wear this. Or a restaurant won't let you in if you don't have a dinner jacket. And it's interesting, in those scenarios, we're really excited when we get admission into those places. Also, people wear today a red bracelet. I've seen that. Why? Because it's an admission that we believe that what we wear can negate negative energies, bad luck. So we know, well, what we wear makes a difference. Except when it comes to God, we don't want any string attached, even if it's red. The Kohanim could not serve in the temple if they didn't wear the outfits that they were supposed to wear. Each thing they wore was to negate a sin. But it's deeper than that. The clothes that we wear are protective gear. You go out into the sun, you wear something long sleeve, you don't want freckles, you don't want skin cancer, God forbid. You don't want things, so you know how to wear protective gear for war, for a sun visor, for whatever it is. God is telling you, when he tells us what to wear, this is your protective gear. Why do we need protective gear? We never needed it when Adam and Eve were first created. They were naked in the Garden of Eden. And they were protected and clothed in a godly light. And we're told that what we see, our fingernail, that was the clothing of Adam and Eve. That's what protected them. But after they sinned, they became vulnerable. They became vulnerable to what? They became vulnerable to evil forces that were set to attack mankind, and God gave them new clothing. Clothing is our means of protecting ourselves. Clothing is a means of dignifying ourselves. We're hiding and revealing at the same time. Interesting. The word or in Hebrew is light. Light. But when Adam and Eve, they sinned and that godly light left them, they were clothed in or. Well, isn't that the same word? Yes, different spelling. They were clothed in skin. What skin? When you say, oh, they're hide. Animals hide. Exactly that. The or, the new skin, was meant to hide what? Their godliness, their neshamot, which now needed sheltering because everything negative tries to attach itself to something holy. That's where it gains its strength. Everything in the physical world we can learn from, like a parasite. The negative energies are parasites which feed off of our godly neshamot. Protect yourself from the bad by wearing modest clothing, and also dignify yourself by wearing godly clothing. God tells us, Atem tiyu li mamlechet kohanim v'goy kadosh. You will be a priestly nation for me, a holy nation for me. It manifests itself in the clothes that we wear. We think sometimes that Judaism is here to suppress women, subjugate us. So wear this, wear all these shmatas and hide yourself. I just ask you to be a little bit rational on this subject. Look at TikTok. You see TikTok, you have teenagers there, younger than teenagers there, who are so over-sexualized, exposed. That's not objectifying, that's not subjugating women, but a long-sleeve t-shirt is. Do you see what we've done to young women in this world? What advertising, social media has done to women? And you are blaming the Torah for subjugating women? Look at your daughters, look at your wives, look at today's modern women, and see what society has done to them. I know, again I tell you, I was part of the crew that thought that you had to do all those things to dress for success. What an important relationship we have with clothing. Nothing about it is casual. It's written in the Talmud that if you do not respect your clothing, if you treat them with contempt, that they will not serve you any longer. Well, that's a nice sentence, but then we see it to be true. King David, in his fleeing from Saul and fighting with Saul in his very respectable manner, came across one of King Saul's clothing. King David was not king yet. And he slashed it just to let King Saul know, I was here, didn't hurt you. Later in years, King David, before he was about to die, could not be warmed. His body was freezing. No matter how many garments they put upon him, they would not warm him. The garments would not serve him because once in the past he was disrespectful to a garment. The Talmud teaches us that if a Talmid Chacham, a righteous man, a scholarly person of Torah who represents Judaism, walks around with a stain on his shirt, he's liable for the death penalty. Okay, that's a little bit dramatic, wouldn't you say? Like maybe he's liable to go do his laundry for a year by the river. He's liable for the death penalty. So we can immediately say, well, that's a little harsh, or we can question why it is so important that clothes are dignified, that they reflect the neshama, they reflect Hashem, they reflect the godly nation, the godly soul inside. Many of us will be casual, throw on a garment and throw it off on the floor. We're not allowed, actually we're told by Kabbalistic teachings, you throw a garment on the floor, it collects negative energies down there. You can't wear it after. You have to shake it, I believe it's 3 times. You can't wear it. Our clothes are so important. Another thing Judaism teaches is that a Jew cannot mix, they can't wear a garment that has a mixture of wool and linen. Okay, why not? Most Jews, at least in Montreal where I grew up, were in the garment district. Don't tell me how to thread the machinery. Why we have that rule in the Torah? It's called a chok. We really don't know why. Does that stop the rabbis and the most brilliant among them from saying the reasons that they think? One of the reasons, because I like to go deep, is that everything has an energy in it. Everything, and we know that. That's not just Torah teaching. That's today modern science. Everything has a particle, a wave particle. The atom depends how quickly the atom is spinning, will depend on what type of matter manifests at the end. So everything has an energy. Interesting today, we know about linen. Linen is antibacterial. We know it has no static, it has a neutral energy. We know that linen is used in insulation for airplanes and for other things to mute frequency. So wow, the material has a life of its own. Another study, another research. I have yet to verify, I have to go deeper on this, but it's posted on the internet. I'll just go with it because I believe anyways that each thing and each item, and we know this scientifically, whether I believe it or not is irrelevant, that each thing has its energy. Some energies cancel each other out. Some chemicals are combustible. Some energies are compatible. This study says that wool and linen, when combined, they mute each other. They cancel each other out. So these are just scientific postulations to probably try and think maybe what God thought, why we have these rules. Doesn't matter because he's the creator of all things. He knows what we don't know. Like a parent when you're 2 or 3 or 7, when they say don't run with scissors, and like, why not? You know, I like scissors. But they know why. They know the deeper reason. They know the harm. They know the benefits. God knows everything. So when he tells us don't mix wool and linen, clothes make us who we are. They can protect us, they can harm us, they can define us. All of modern society dictates to us, dress to kill. God and his Torah tells us, dress to live. And on that note, I ask you, please ask yourself this one question, which I ask myself every morning. Why are you wearing that? Why are you wearing that? Shabbat Shalom.